Now here's an interesting 19th century game that you don't hear too much about. It's got kind of a foggy history. I think you'll like it. Greetings, friend. Welcome once again to my game room. Right up front, let me let you know that I'm not talking about Bizinga or Bizingo or this Bizinga or Bizingo or whatever this is or this Bizinga. What I'm talking about is back in the 1850s, a board game was invented, apparently in America, although I found one reference that said it was invented in Canada. And many examples of this game seem to have an American Civil War theme to them, even though supposedly it was invented before the war. I have not seen any antebellum versions of this game, but still it is usually associated with the American Civil War. R.C. Bell's game book from 1979 says the following: "The Castle Museum in York, England, holds an example of Bizingo, and this account is reproduced by courtesy of the museum trustees. However, this is what I found when I visited their database. Regardless of that, most sources I found predate the Civil War, but Bell doesn't say anything about that in his game book. He doesn't even mention the game in his 2-volume masterwork. Likewise, there's no mention at all by David Parlett, Damian Walker, Jack Bodermans, H.G.R. Murray, or Stuart Coulin. But the game does exist, and here's my homemade version of it. This is based on a direct copy of the board that's shown in R.C. Bell's game book. Now, my assumption is that someone with time on their hands and a penchant for doing drafting laid out a bunch of triangles on their drafting board at some point and said, hey, I could make a game out of this. It just has that feel about it, that it was invented on a whim, not really sought after as a game designer might. But this employs a very unique custodial capture, a 3-way custodial capture. And I'm a big fan of custodial capture and triangles. And so here's the way to play the game. Each player has a set of uniquely colored pieces consisting of 16 soldiers and 2 captains. They're set up on the board in the configuration shown here. Though the 2 players' pieces are set up differently, their objectives are the same. Either capture all the opponent's pieces but 2, or capture both of the opponent's captains. I have seen a set of rules that says a player can win by surrounding their opponent so that any move they make will result in a capture. Seems like a weak win, but there it is. On each player's turn, a piece is moved 1 space to a joining triangle of the same color, as shown here. Pieces always remain on their own color of triangle. Soldiers are captured by surrounding the piece on 3 sides, like this. But captains can only be captured if one of the 3 surrounding pieces is an opposing captain. Captains also must be involved at the edges of the board where a piece can be captured by 2 opponents and the edge. One of those 2 capturers must be a captain. If a piece is moved into a triangle surrounded as described, it is immediately captured, unless that move captures one of the pieces already in place. Although it's not addressed in the rule sets for Bizingo that I've seen, it's logical to assume that multiple captures are allowed. Turns alternate between the players until the win condition is met. So Bizingo is a very interesting little game. It has interesting strategies, the asymmetry and the custodial capture. There's a lot of reasons to play it just for the fun of it. I don't think it's a game with a lot of depth to it, but it's still a fun filler for 2 players. There are a few commercial versions available. Most of what I've seen, though, is handmade sets like what I did here. And so I enjoin you all to go ahead and try Bizingo if you get the chance, but whatever you play, be sure to play every day.